Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at some of the chords and tricks used by the internet famous indie shoegaze band Julie, so that hopefully you can incorporate some of these things into your own music and start making some cool songs. But before we get into that, I want to mention that the best way to support the channel is by checking out my online shop, where you can get drum kits, loops, and mixing and guitar presets, as well as other things to help make your music. And I've decided to discount my everything bundle, which includes everything on my shop for the next few months. So if you want to support the channel, please check it out. Now, let's get on with the video. So, something I've noticed by learning a few Julie songs and going through them is that it isn't always about the chords they're using, because they can often be quite simple, but it's the movement between the chords that kind of adds the interest, in my opinion. For example, some chords from their song Flutter. So, I'm in standard tuning for this, and the first chord I want to show you is this major 7 triad shape. Now, this is a really cool chord on its own, and a really great one to use instead of just a normal power chord or major chord if you want more color. But what they do in the song is they move it down to this power chord shape, and it just caught my attention in a really cool way. So, let me show you how it goes. See, a very small movement, but a very big impact. I barely had to move my fingers there, and I think just things like that are super cool. But this moves us to the next thing they do in the song, which is later on in the song, to give the progression more attitude, they take the power chord shapes played on the A and D string, and they bar onto the E string to add an extra fifth into it. Let me show you what I mean. So, just taking, let's say, these chords. So I can just bar down there and get this. And we're not adding any new notes to our power chord shape. We're just adding the fifth that already exists in the chord, but in the bass, which creates just this super huge sounding and fat chord, which I think works really well for this. And another example of this you can hear is on When You Sleep by My Bloody Valentine, those opening chords. Alright, but now this moves us to another song which kind of builds on kind of the last chord I showed you, and it's from a song called Skipping Tiles. So the first chord I want to show you is this one, which just takes 2 fingers to play and sounds like this. Just a really great and even more melodic kind of sounding version of the last chord. And then another one where I'm just barring the whole fretboard this time and just putting my 2 fingers there in the middle. It sounds like this. Just a really great and full sounding shoegaze chord. Perfect for this kind of music and what Julie's doing. But the last chord from this song I want to show you isn't even really a chord. It's kind of used just to create tension and sound. It's just 2 notes, so it's more of an interval. And it sounds like this. And I think it's really cool. So I'm just taking that shape and moving it down a fret. That's what they do. It doesn't even really matter what notes you're playing. It's just like a really cool sounding interval to use. And I thought it was really cool. So try experiment with that. Just take 2 notes from a chord or any interval you kind of like, and just try play around with that to kind of add some tension in the song and, you know, add some cool effect in there. So now moving on to the last set of chords and ideas that I want to share, coming from the song Kit, and we're going to be taking it down to drop D for this. So the first chord I want to show you is this D over A chord. And I thought this chord was really cool because you can actually very easily move it up and down the neck. So immediately I was just playing something like... See, I'm just barring that with my index finger. Very cool. It's kind of like the last few chords where you have that extra fifth in the bass, but just a string up. Super cool sounding. Now, the last thing I want to show you is more of a technique around drop D that Julie utilizes in their songs. And basically, you take your simple drop D power chord shape on the bottom 3 strings, and because you're only using one finger to create that chord, it frees up your fingers to just do a bunch of other things, like play a cool melody. So for example, with this chord, see, I'm not even moving my hand really, and I'm able to just play these melodies. Super cool trick, definitely worth trying out and mastering, utilizing in your songs. So, I hope you guys have learned something from watching this and feel inspired to make some songs now. But that's all from me for now, so if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel, please check out my online shop, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.